on HLN.
Certainly not against it.
A confirmation hearing for President Donald Trump's first Supreme Court nominee underway right now in Washington. Senators are giving their opening statements. However, everyone is waiting to hear from this man, Judge Neil Gorsuch. If he's confirmed, he would take the place of Justice Antonin Scalia, who died last year. Pate is a familiar face to you. He's a constitutional attorney and CNN legal analyst, and joins me from Atlanta. I know that you're watching with a certain eye. Obviously, in your world, you're going to have a lot of questions. What kind of things are you watching for?
Well, Hichaela, I think the first thing that we're wanting to hear from Judge Gorsuch is that he's going to be independent from the president. I think there's been a lot of concern that because President Trump appointed him to a seat that actually became available when President Obama was in office, that Judge Gorsuch is going to feel somehow indebted to President Trump and will rule with him on the important issues that come before the court. So I expect we're going to see a lot of questions about his independence. Is he going to be his own judge, or is he basically there to serve the Trump administration? And I
imagine you expect to hear a certain amount of questioning that will fall along the lines of Democrat and Republican, as one might expect. Those theories and his rulings will be tested. They'll bring up some of his rulings from the past as well.
I think they certainly will. I think probably the Hobby Lobby case is one of the more important rulings that we're going to hear about during these confirmation hearings. And of course, that was a case where Hobby Lobby and others challenged the mandate in the Affordable Care Act to provide for contraception coverage for their employees. Judge Gorsuch wrote an opinion in that case siding with Hobby Lobby and finding that it was an exercise of their religious freedom as a company to not provide that type of coverage. So I think you'll hear a lot of questions about where he stands on religious issues and the right to choose as well.
Now, we should point out that, Paige, this is far from a foregone conclusion that he will pass this nomination process, because we have to remember, contextually, we have to remember Democrats are still stinging from the blocking of Merrick Garland, President Obama's nominee for the Supreme Court. And I imagine right now they're making that assessment of whether they pitch a fight here or save that fight for a potential nominee down the road.
Right, and I think the wise choice here, if you're a Senate Democrat, is to simply judge this particular candidate on his own merits, because ultimately Judge Garland should have been given a hearing. He was appointed during President Obama's term, but he didn't get one. And there's nothing you can do about this nominee that's going to change that fact. So if we look at Judge Gorsuch's background, I think we find a judge who's fairly conservative, yes, but also fair-minded, and probably the best pick we would have gotten from a Trump administration.
And we should point out, 49 years old, if he is confirmed, he would have a good, considering if he keeps healthy, hale and hearty, he would serve a good long stretch on the Supreme Court. Paige, really a delight to talk to you. Thanks for lending your expertise to us this morning. All right.